Okay, our next section is dealing with trig, and what I have up here is what's on the formula chart. So what's on the formula chart is an example, a picture of the triangle, and also what you have on your formula chart. What's not on there is telling you what's opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse, but you do have the sine, and they write opposite over hypotenuse, cosine, and then you do also have the tangent. We looked at using this little symbolism or acronym SOHCAHTOA to help you. And for sine, capital S is sine, you do O over H. That means opposite over hypotenuse. For cosine, that's A over H. And then tangent, that's O over A, TOA. So if you want to just kind of maybe put this on your test as soon as you start, help you remember what to do, that might be one way to make sure you set up the problems correctly. Now, what we have here and over here is our additional information that you need to memorize. So depending on your class, you got like a little pink foldable, and then you have some shortcuts. So what you need to remember is that when you set up your trig function, your trig ratio, if x is on top, okay, if x is on top, you're going to multiply. That's important. Memorize that. If x is on the bottom, you divide. Please memorize that. If x is inside the triangle, then we're doing the inverse. That's when we, and then here's your examples here. That's when we're doing sine -1, cosine -1, tangent -1. So this, what I have, you need to memorize. Add this to your notes. Maybe do a flashcard. Have someone ask you what to do. Okay. And then we're going to go into some practice problems. Okay, so I went ahead and wrote our SOHCAHTOA on here, our sine, cosine, tangent, opposite over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse at the A and H, opposite over adjacent. So they want you to write just the tangent ratio. Say, we underline some key information. Tangent ratio for P and Q. So I'm going to do the P, you're going to, and help you with the Q. Make sure you get that done for 13. So to do that, circle your angle. That's your reference angle. Because we're doing tangent, tangent is the TOA, so that we're looking for opposite over adjacent. So I look opposite of P, that would be my 16. Adjacent is right next to, that would be the 12. So the tangent, you write the word tan, that's the abbreviation for tangent, of P, the letter for the angle, is the ratio 16 over 12. So there is your ratio for the tangent of P. Now to do the tangent of Q, now Q is the angle. We look opposite of Q. Now 12 becomes the opposite, and 16 becomes the adjacent. So we have tangent of Q equals 12 over 16. So they kind of switch here. And they're inverse of each other when dealing with tangents, and you're doing the complement. So that's just some extra information. Now you can reduce this, okay? We can reduce this to 3 over 4, but as long as you get to that ratio, you're going to be good, okay? So 13, they want you to write the ratio of sine of A and cosine of A, okay? So sine of A is going to be our angle for each one. Sine is when we're doing opposite over hypotenuse. So we got to go opposite that angle. That's the 24. Hypotenuse is always opposite the right angle. So that is 26. And then our ratio for sine of A, we write sine of A equals opposite over hypotenuse, 24 over 26. But yes, you can, oh, sorry. You can reduce, but as long as we get the ratio, you're good. Now they want us to do cosine. Cosine of A, that's when we're doing adjacent over hypotenuse. So we need adjacent to the angle. Adjacent to this angle is like right next to it. This is it right here. This is my adjacent side. So now we're doing the cosine of A equals adjacent over hypotenuse, 10 over 26. Okay? I keep writing 24, sorry. 26. So So that's writing our ratios. Now we're putting it all together. This is going back to those things you need to memorize so you can problem solve. Your hint you have here is when given an angle is acute and not a 45-90 or 30, that should be 30-60-90, sorry. We're going to use SOHCAHTOA. So start off, always circle the angle, because it says right here, circle your angle, then label your sides, opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. Now, label just what's given. Don't try to label everything, because you only want to use the part that's given. So on number 14, we circle the angle, that's our 55. We look here, 8.9 is opposite, or just a O for opposite. And then the X is adjacent, that's our A. So who deals with opposite and adjacent, the O and the A? Exactly, tangent. So you write tangent of 55, always the angle, is equal to opposite over adjacent, that ratio, because we're doing TOA. Okay, so that would be 8.9 over X. Okay, and so now X is on the bottom. When it's on the bottom, we're going to divide. So this would be X equals 8.9 divided by the tangent of 55. Basically, if X is on the bottom, we're going to switch these two. Just switch. Make that tangent go to the bottom, tangent 55, and the X go to the other side. So just another thing to think about it is to switch them. Okay? So now you got to go to the calculator. We got to go 8.9. We got to divide. We got to hit the trig button, hit tangent, and then hit our 55, hit our enter, and round to the nearest tenth. So we get 6.2. So X is approximately 6.2. We're going to box that. So on 15, same thing. Circle your angle. That's our 32. Label the parts in relationship to the angle. Well, opposite the right angle is always the hypotenuse. That's the H. Next to the angle, this 12. Yep, exactly. That's the adjacent. Who deals with A and an H? That is cosine. So we write cosine of 32 equals adjacent 12 over X. Again, look where that X is. It's on the bottom. So to solve it, we're going to divide. X equals 12 divided by the cosine of 32. And then when we do that, you're going to put that in your calculator to get your answer and round to the nearest tenth. So 14.2. 14.2. Alright, see if we can set it up. You can pause the video. Otherwise, I'm going to go straight into it. Pause it. See if you set it up. Check yourself. Check your understanding. See how prepared you're going to be for tomorrow. Alright, if you set it up like this, we're on the right track. But now look where our X is. It's on top. It's on top of the proportion of the ratio. So when it's on top, what do? We multiply. So we write X equals 15 times the sine of 23. Make sure you keep this together. Don't put the 15 inside there. So that's when we're going to go to our calculator, type that in, get our answer. Round to the nearest tenth, and we get 5.9. Now, you're going to do some mixture. Sometimes you use Trig, sometimes you're not. Just applying what we know about right triangles. Now, on number 17, when you have a diagram and it's labeled for you, make sure you read the question completely. Underline key information, circle your question. So they gave us the distance between those two cities or towns. They want us to know how much shorter, that's important, is the distance from Ferris to Butte than the distance to Rain. So the key to this, if this is the only thing given, if you only have a right angle, odds are it's Pythagorean theorem. So here's 15 is A, 20 is B. We're trying to find that hypotenuse. So we're going to do our A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And we have 15 squared plus 20 squared equals C squared. We can do that all in one stroke on the calculator by doing 15 squared plus 20 squared. Hit enter. We get 625. So then we write that down. 625 is the C squared. But then we have to take the square root of that. So we can do that in one keystroke too. Control x squared, and then if I hit control negative, this is the answer. That's the previous answer. And we get 5. So we write down our answer. C is 5. I mean 25. I said 5. Sorry. 25. So we know this is 25. And then we go back to the question, because the question says how much shorter is the distance directly from Ferris to Butte? So directly from Ferris to Butte is right here. That distance is 25. How much shorter is it than the distance from Ferris to Butte to Wayne? So that means if I went here, then here, that distance would be a total of 35. And then compared to if I went direct shot, so how much shorter is it? The answer is 10. So don't jump the gun. Just because you get an answer and you see that answer choice, go back to your question. All right, so we have another one similar to that. It's labeled for us, okay? The tree in the park was struck by lightning and broke into 2 pieces. Make sure you understand what those 2 pieces are. The part standing is 100 feet. So this is one of the piece. This is a piece of the tree. And it says the top of the tree landed 250 feet from the base. So this would be top of the tree over here. That's another piece. All right, so how are we going to find that piece? Again, we just have only the right angle, so we need to find it by using Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 249 squared plus 100 squared equals c squared. We're going to get a big number when we do that, which is 2001. So to find the c, we got to take the square root on both sides. The square root is 268.3. I think it's repeating. So approximately, that's what c is. So, but it asked, the question said, and we forgot to circle that at first, how long is the broken portion of the tree? Okay, how long is the broken portion of the tree? So the broken portion of the tree is over here, the C. But it could ask what's the total height. So the broken, this right here is our broken part. How big was our tree though? If I needed to know the total height of the tree, then we would have to add our 2 pieces. We would take that 268.3 and add it to that 100. Okay, so make sure we're working all the way through. All right, the next set is dealing with inverse, so we're going to do a different video for that. Thank you.